welcome to another edition of the Mogabr Show. I'm your host, Gabe, as always. With me, I have a very special guest. His name is Stefan Fehr. He is the CEO and founder of Modern IQs. He's also an AI pioneer. He has been deeply involved in AI and content creation, content dominance, marketing, entrepreneurship for quite a long time. And we're going to talk to him about everything that he's seen, not only the AI landscape, but the business landscape, where he sees the future of business marketing and what you should expect, what you should plan for, what you should do to prepare, what you should have been doing long ago. Stefan, welcome. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I'm excited to talk to you because you are involved in a lot. There's a lot of things that you're doing. Um, this is sort of an open-ended question. What's the most exciting thing that you're currently working on?
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. So it's such an open-ended question. See?
Well, so yeah, but for sure, we're launching, like we're in the, I would say 98% of the work is done for launching the new platform. And that will be, I I kept promoting this in the past weeks as people can go on moderniqs.com and create a blog article for free without creating an account, but we're not at this stage yet. There's some technical issues. So right now we have a switch. So what you have, so kind of you have to imagine with ChatGPT, it still takes at our quality levels of the quality of our blog articles is like 4 hours with ChatGPT. And with our systems, you go on moderniqs.com, you enter the headline of the article, you enter your email, you press create, and then the article gets sent to you via email with images, with crazy like plagiarism checks and like a lot, right? And so the second version of the platform is actually like, I don't know if you know these kind of free sites where you have some like free tools where you just go on and you enter something and you get like a backlink analysis or something like that. So this is what we're doing. So you only need to enter the headline of the article and press create. And if you create an account, you can set up your WordPress so it automatically uploads. And like we're trying to automate every step you need to do manually so you can focus on gaining knowledge and feeding the system with cool content ideas and create really good content in seconds. Yeah.
So is that something that, so let's talk about this because there's been so much back and forth in the US and globally as well. Meta has a watermark on anything that it generates. I think they just changed what it said. It was saying something about, created with AI or something to that extent. Um, what do you see as sort of the pitfalls to this? Because now you have a lot of people in marketing that are afraid for their job. And I'm not saying that they should be afraid. I think it's the fear comes from a place of misunderstanding. Overall, there are legitimate concerns in terms of AI, and I think there will be certain positions that are displaced. I've always felt that. I don't think it's the doom and gloom that people make it out to be. But what do we say to those people that are like, well, AI can't replace me because I'm way too creative. And, then you have the flip side of that people think that, oh, I will now be able to do XYZ's job or such and such person's job because now I have AI. Like, because I feel like those are just two random extremes. I don't believe that AI will be as creative as a true creative person. And I don't believe that it's going to completely replace people. I think it's more of a complementary tool with certain exceptions where it will be able to do a lot of the task, a lot of the menial repetitive tasks that we were sort of accustomed to. What's your take on that?
I see this mostly as a tool which enriches my idea and gets me takes away the job of writing. So okay. So this is something unique, and I'm not usually saying in podcasts. I have this gaming mouse here, right? And I have it set up so when I press my mouse wheel, I can dictate into my Mac. This is a standard feature from Mac, and I believe there is something on Windows as well. And so so this the tool is built in a way where you enter the headline, but you also have a bigger section below where you enter background information. So you tell the system. So that's what I'm usually doing. I'm like, create this blog article around this idea. And then I describe the idea. And then I'm like, focus on this, take this, this is the core idea, but this is right about that as well. And so um, when you tell the system quite detailed what it should write on, then it's an extent. So then it's not like just we used to just paste the headline. You can just paste the headline and create. And in a lot of cases, like for example, we're working with restaurants want to rank locally for a dish. If you want to, if you enter a chicken teriyaki Amsterdam, right? You don't want to have like a super unique article. You want to have a chicken teriyaki, right? so so in that case, a headline is totally fine. And by the way, this is a when it comes to that use case, the person that used to write this by hand is definitely replaced,
Yeah.
because like is the quality what we're doing is way above what you need there. So it's like overkill.
So how do you like, let's say, how do we tell this now? How do we sell this in the sense that I get from a business perspective? Like if you're coming to me and you're telling me I'm as a business owner, it's like, Gabe, you're going to be able to do, 10x what you used to be able to do in 100x the time because we're going to be, we have so much more available now. That's an easy sell. So, because as a business owner, I want to save money. Absolutely. I want to be faster. Absolutely. So that's the easy decision for me. But now on the flip side, to the employee that's being
Mhm.
replaced, what do we tell them? Because they're probably going to obviously not be happy. But then, it's like this is an opportunity for them to upskill,
Yeah.
hopefully, and learn
So,
something else. But like, what do we say to them?
well, look, Um, I mean, these people use computers, right?
Yeah.
And there used to be a time where you didn't have a computer. And I mean, if you use modern technology, you can't just say, I'm using everything till today and everything new I just don't like. But look, I like this more in a sense of I think look at this more in a sense of you have two possibilities. This is a system you used to write your blog article by hand. And you maybe even enjoyed it, you liked writing and so on. It's okay. Look, what you can do now is instead of writing an article for 20 hours, you can learn and listen to podcasts for 19 hours instead of after 20 hours having realized one great content idea, you learned like a crazy amount of knowledge and you created 20 really good content pieces, right? I mean, the difference will, and I mean, I could talk about how we like one of the systems we are right now integrating is that you can feed the system with like any kind of information you have about yourself, your company, your progress, anything, and the system will create the content with every word it writes in context to everything your products, your company, your everything. I mean, this would be impossible. I guess you would need months to create a blog article as a human if you
So
would have right
yeah, so
this
I
kind of
think,
stuff.
I want to pivot real quick because that sort of opens up another conversation. This is really efficient, and efficiency is one of the things that you are sort of known for. Your
Yeah.
mom called you Effie as a child. It's like, how did that come about? How did this passion for efficiency come, and how did you sort of, carry that over into your business practices?
Well, hmm. I mean I did my normal job training in a German car manufacturer,
Okay.
like big production, right?
Yeah.
Big automatic machines and stuff.
Yeah.
So this has always been a thing. And then a lot of like where I got really motivated is when I saw like how Elon is, you know, just reducing the cost of rockets by 99% because he lands them. It's like, he's not an Einstein, he just looks at things and be like, how can I make this faster? So for example, why I started with Modern IQs, I had appcolumbus.com, that's my old project. And this website had 69 articles, blog articles on. And by the day, I created a lot of AI text. The traffic from Google really came in. You could see after a month or two, you saw one on that day, traffic started to went up, you know, and I was like, okay, wow. So I didn't know that blog articles can get me so much traffic. I was like, those 69 articles were at 130 130,000 a month, and so I thought, I have 4 hours. How can I get it down to a minute? And that's and then because I guess with the Elon's, and so right now I guess what I'm doing is my main passion is mastering operations. And mastering operations, you can see this like everywhere with what I'm doing, right? I give you an example. I have this tool, right, where I create the articles, but I still have this mouse where I click a button and then I dictate into my computer. So so the whole process is like, I have an idea, and 15 seconds later, it's an article.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
So
I think
this
that's
is,
great
yeah.
though, because those are the things that sort of people need to sort of understand. Like you had a specific skill set prior to I'm not going to say prior to because AI has been around for a long time, but you had a specific skill set prior to like the boom of AI. But you sort of combined that now with AI and your previous operational experience and your previous, desire for efficiency, and you combine that, and now you sort of accelerated and maximized your efficiency with AI. How exactly can because that's another thing that, in terms of businesses, you look at there's so many AI agents that are coming out now, whether, it's Sintra or something else that's similar. And there's an AI agent for everything, whether it's customer service or RevOps or, BizOps, business development, sales leads, etc. There's something for everything. What can a business owner do to, in this day and age now, if I'm starting my business today, in 2024, what can I do to maximize my, not only my efficiency, but take advantage of all of these tools that are out there so that I scale properly? I don't have to have, I can have as low as overhead as possible, where maybe I don't need 10 people right away. I can do this with two, four, even just one person until I'm ready to sort of scale the business. What's the best way to sort of just look at that and say, okay, this is what I need to do?
Yeah. So something, and that is not even, that's applying to any company. Um, we focus on one-click solutions. So you enter your headline, you press a button, the thing gets sent. The thing gets plagiarism checked, uploaded to your website, blah blah blah, like hundreds of steps. Okay. Um, what the current narrative is, just as always, like, how can I improve what I'm already doing?
Yeah.
And this is something I liked and got inspired by Elon as well. It's like the best process is no process, not speeding up so for example, if you use Copilot, right? If you go from this approach, um, I need to send emails with Copilot. I'm 50% faster, right? Great. So now your 100% work process, 3% of your 100% work process is sped up by 50%. That's like nothing. Right? So for example, if you want to create a blog article, you used to take 20 hours. And with ChatGPT, you have it done in 4, but because you still need to do the images, reduce the size of the images, and so much. All right. With a one-click solution like our tool, you need 10 seconds or maybe a minute if you give it good background information, right? So I would suggest, instead of thinking, how can I speed up a part of, because people always think like, wow, now the system writes the text for me. I don't need to do anything anymore. And I'm like, okay, so how long do you have for, like, do you have 2,000 articles on your website? No, I have 20. Why? Because an article still needs hours for you. You just don't see it because you see what's been automated, but what you don't realize is your time got down by 60%, not by 99.999%. So, and the thing is, with the current level of AI, so we are operating at the maximum potential of what AI can do today at certain tasks. And this is 1,000 times faster than doing this with ChatGPT. I roughly, right? Um, so I would suggest that instead of looking for a better solution to, get to speed up your process, try to eliminate the process. Search for one-click solutions. I'm very sure that other companies have, automated, like highly automated entire tasks instead of just doing a copilot thing where, you still need to open your email and you need to, hit reply, and asks you, what did you want, this email or this, and then you need to, read for free emails. It's like, it's not making sense, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the issue also is people are afraid to adopt the technology. Not and some of the fear isn't necessarily because of, "Oh, I'm going to be replaced." That is some fear, but I think the majority of the fear is the known hallucinations of some of these, large language
Mhm.
models and some of these other, even the small language models. I mean, although the small language models are more accurate than the large language models in some capacity because they're more finely tuned, but they're worried, am I going to generate something that is incorrect,
Mhm.
that is going to be wrong, misleading, paint my company or myself personally in a wrong light, in a,
Mhm.
bad light. What can people do? Because so I think people, one thing that I've heard of, and I'll tell you this offline, I can't really talk about it on the air, but there was a company that I'm working with, and they hired a human validator for AI, which seems counterintuitive, counterproductive. But I'm like, okay, at least in a way, it sort of created a job. They might have eliminated two or three, but it created one job where somebody's
Mhm.
going in and
I got it.
validating the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
information.
totally. Yeah.
And, you know, how can we get past that hump, in terms of it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to get you some way, half the way there or more than half the way there in terms of, you know, do this because I think a lot of the issues that people have with it is they still don't trust it completely. It's the fear
Mhm.
of I don't want to look unprofessional or I don't want to be found out.
Well, so okay. Um, our system. So first of all, we are not experts in every field. So if you create your content with modern IQs, you are the expert, right? Creating the content takes away, even if you check a blog article with 5 pages of text, it takes creating the content takes away at least 99% of the time. So check your content. I mean, it depends on the field, right? So,
Yeah.
for example, if you create a blog article about chicken teriyaki, I wouldn't check it, to be honest. If I would publish it for myself, I wouldn't check it because this is like it's a meal, right? There's nothing really that can go wrong. I mean, maybe if you have whatever. If there's a reason for you to see I should check it, then check it. And if it's not, well, it's up to you. We always suggest just check because you are the expert in your field, so
Hmm.
you have to check the content. Yeah.
Absolutely. Agreed.
There's no
100%.
there's just to say this clear, there's no guarantee we give. We have this in the disclaimer and so on, because I mean this is the current law of AI, and as long as it is like this, as long as we don't have maybe croc free will be something in that direction, but and then also just a little bit philosophically, what is the truth? It's not so easy, right? Okay, because everybody will tell what is okay. can I send emails to business to in B2B? Yeah. Everybody will tell you something different.
That is,
So
yeah, fair.
yeah.
That's fair. Okay, fair. I mean, so what do you think? Like, what's next in terms of AI tech? Right now we have technology. We have AI, excuse me. We have generative AI to be more specific. But we've always had AI, since 20 November 2022 specifically. We've had the term generative AI in our lexicon. What's next for AI or for technology? Before the AI boom, everybody was all Web3 and NFT, blockchain, and now everybody's an AI expert.
Mm.
So what's next in terms of technology? I don't think that AI is going away. I don't think it's a fad at all. But
No.
the hype cycle may potentially die down in a few. And what's the next
Mhm.
evolution?
Well, so that be something to I well, there's several things. One is 100 billion robots. That's one thing, and this is going to happen in the next 15 years, I believe, maybe 20.
Yeah.
So 10, more than 10 robots per person, something like that, probably. Um, Health is gonna be huge. Health, like life expectancy is gonna skyrocket. It's gonna be a game changer.
Okay.
I'm starting to use the same words as AI. It's funny.
Yeah.
Um, but well, there's a lot of technology coming out which is scary as well. So
No,
yeah.
I agree. It's gonna be interesting. Now, in terms of like this technology that's coming out, the longer life expectancy, what can we do? What can I do to sort of prepare? Not even as a business, it's just a person living everyday life. Maybe I'm 70, my life expectancy would have been maybe till 80 or 75 or 77, but now I'm gonna live longer. Like, what should I do to prepare in terms of like work, mental?
Mhm.
Because now, okay, the retirement age is it going to change? Here in the US, it's 65. I don't know what it is
Mm,
in the Netherlands.
mm,
Um, but what should we expect? Because people are going to have to work longer now if you're going to live longer. It's at least that's sort of what's the expectation is, unless we're going to go to a different way of doing things where money is sort of irrelevant, which I don't see that happening anytime soon within the next 10 years at least.
mm.
Um, what do you think? What should we do to prepare?
Well, so so this is like okay. First of all, to pre I want to say this quickly. W- We are developing one-click solutions. These one-click solutions in their specific task can replace are as potent. One person can be doing the work of 1,000 employees using ChatGPT. So one person using our systems could replace a country full of content writers that are using ChatGPT, right? Or half a country, I don't know, 1,000 people, right? So this is why I'm advocating to stop the development in AI and start, developing solutions that go from the very, very low end of what AI can do today, which is something like ChatGPT, to very specific, extremely targeted applications that can do extreme amounts of high quality work at the upper level of what AI can do today. If we stop developing, if we stop developing more potent AI and use the capacity it has right now, then our preparation can be slower. This will still be crazy in terms of development, global development and technology and so on, but it's still going to be way slower than if we develop more potent AI applications, which we do. So preparing, um, there's a big mismatch, and this is what I'm advocating frequently now. Is we when you watch the news, what you should see almost every day is Finland just went through his 20th cycle of testing UBI on its population. And just like all the other state nations in Europe and around the world, they are ready for deploying UBI to when people don't have jobs anymore. This is what you should see in TV right now. What you also should see in TV right now. So this is like the UBI thing we have fixed. What we are working on right now, what's the current biggest task is what are people going to do? How are they going to, live their life without work? So because I am believing that look, Tesla is gonna be in 2 years, they are going to mass produce robots that can learn factory work by watching an iPad of somebody doing the work. I mean, you don't even need to show it in person anymore. You can give the robot the task. It's watching a movie. It figures out, okay, this is the machine. This is what I have to do, and then it's doing the job. So, we should really like our main focus today should be how are we spending our day? How are we staying mentally healthy? What is our purpose going to be? How do we focus more on being a social people? This kind of stuff. How are we preparing society?
No,
That's
that's a very
yeah,
good question. I mean, in
yeah.
terms of like the robots that Elon said, he said 2 years, so it's more like 5 years because he's never on time with anything. So he always delivers his cars late and his trucks late. So I'll give it more like
Hopefully.
I think we got 5 years to go before he we see a robot that actually works. But no, but to your point though, I do agree with that. I think that will be something interesting because we do have to see how we're going to occupy a lot of people. That has
Mhm,
been sort of, the thing, the what they do. So in retirement, a lot of people here in the US, they used to take little small part-time jobs, whether bagging groceries. And MIT just released last month a robot that was bagging groceries.
mhm,
It was like a huge thing. It's like, is that something that's needed? A robot to bag groceries? I feel like that's way over the top. But hey, they wanted to show the dexterity of the robot, what it was capable of,
mhm.
how sensitive could be with groceries, and it worked. So I don't see grocery stores paying the money that it costs to do that just yet, but maybe that's something down the line that they will invest in. But yeah, now all those people, yes, we do have to find something else for those people to do. In terms of the slowing down the development in I agree that, until we can have the barriers in place, because you had a LinkedIn article also about AGI and how we weren't ready yet last month.
Mhm,
Um, and I agree with you, but I feel a couple of things. I'm like, one thing is people aren't slowing down.
mhm.
Meta just released its Llama
Yeah.
3.1, 405 billion parameters, which I've had the pleasure of using, and it is extremely amazing. But Mistral also released its, large model 2 that has more parameters than the Meta 3.1, coincidentally released it in the same week. So it's
Mhm,
interesting because they're not, ChatGPT 4.0, then 4.0 mini, they announced Search GPT, all of these other things. And I don't see the development slowing down because it is a competition now between these guys and it's a race to the top. I
mhm,
don't believe I don't believe that there's going to be a true AGI, especially because there's so many different developers, and everybody's going to have their own definition of AGI, in my opinion. And that's just my own personal opinion. I think that someone's going to reach it, say it's AGI, and it's going to become like Kleenex tissues. You grab one generic brand of tissue and you're going to call it a Kleenex. And I think that's what's going to happen with AGI. But I don't believe that there's going to be a true AGI model, especially because I don't believe that AI will be able to develop and adapt to the human way of thinking, which is essentially what they're saying AGI can do. We're too nuanced. In this conversation right now, we can talk and we can change each other's mind if we make valid enough arguments. And I don't think that that's something AGI is going to be capable of. It's going to have its set parameters programmed with humans and humans' biases and humans' opinions. But those specific humans, they're not going to have our learned experience. I was raised in Brooklyn, New York. I can't, I think you were raised in Germany, but it's like you're not going to have those same experiences. If I'm
Mhm.
working with a team that is all completely from Brooklyn, New York, and you're working with a team from Germany in the Netherlands, that's that experience. Are you going to be able to program it to think the way that I do? So I personally don't believe that we're anywhere near AGI. I think they will call it AGI, but it's not going to be true AGI.
Mhm.
What's your
Well, I guess the question is, well, what is the outcome? Because if it's a true super intelligence, um, or AGI, AGI means human capable level, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So this is something because people today think it's the superhuman. It's not. AGI means human capabilities of intelligence,
Mhm.
but I am seeing like a lot of artificial. An LLM is a very narrow part of intelligence, I
Mhm.
would say. It still is a part of intelligence. This is how our, body works as well in our mind. It's programmed kind of in the same way, but for a narrow task. But I've seen that other parts of our intelligence are now artificially being, created. So I can see that more and more parts of human capable intelligence, and then you still have to think, well, it might be that it doesn't has something what we do, maybe true inspiration or something. But when do you have you heard about Q Star?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the model, so Q Star for the audience
Mhm.
is a model which can figure out by understanding math, which an LLM can't do, understanding math that one thing it did was better than the other, and that for improve itself. So, improving on, if you combine this with the other parts of intelligence which are artificially generated now and created, and the system can improve those as well because it understands, then it's coming very close to, or it's getting closer to a full AGI. And but also, it can still analyze billions of pages of text in seconds. So, I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't do
keeps you
that.
awake.
So it's like, listen, in that sense, AI will always have a step up over people like me because there's no way that I can do that. I'm just trying to think of like the nuanced conversations that we're capable of having, whether we're friends or family or each other, colleagues, where we're constantly just talking. So I'm constantly just thinking about, yeah, we do need to slow development down. Or maybe we need to just speed development up in a different way to sort of make it, try to understand, because there's multiple ways to develop. You have to look at things in terms of a product development. You have your Q&A, you develop, you have your Q&A, you have your product managers, and your product managers say yes or no, this should be a product, this should not be a product. And, then those are the people that sort of need to go in, test, and say, okay, cool, this is good. I like this. Or, okay, let's put this out to test to a private, beta group. Let's see what the response is. Who's the private beta group? Because I feel that certain groups, you have like the old school from like the early 2010s, the Apple fanboys that were online to buy the newest iPhone, and no matter what was wrong with it, nothing was ever wrong with it. They said it was the greatest thing ever. And I have an iPhone, and iPhones had their issues in the early days, and it's just sort of like, yeah, but you can't, people wouldn't say that. Same thing with ChatGPT now. They have their fanboys. Everybody, anything that ChatGPT puts out is the greatest thing ever, whether it's perfect or not, whether it has its issues or not, and I feel that the same thing is happening with every AI model. So you need a very unbiased group of testers to say, no, yes, maybe. Let's work on this. And, and then continue to develop it from there, which is what any good product team at a startup should be doing. And, I know it's surprising to say that, but OpenAI is still technically a startup, just one very well-funded startup, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's a startup.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Look, with the development slowdown, I'm strongly thinking about, how, if we want to change something in democracy, for example, usually it takes decades, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to give an unpopular example, but if the US wouldn't have so many guns, maybe the guy couldn't have shot one a week ago, you know.
You
I'm just
know,
saying.
yeah,
So
no,
and then
it's a
so
good
what I
point.
what I want to say, this is just an example of, you in democracy, you have a lot of people which you need to get behind a new idea. So democracy changes extremely slow. I mean, look, if we don't slow down development in AI, we would need a system where the population, or maybe just their representatives, need to make decisions in a tenth of a second tact.
Hmm.
Tack, 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 tack.
Yeah,
And how? Because this is all like countrywide issues.
yeah,
Like, what I'm saying is there is going to be an absolute crazy amount of progress, and our systems are absolutely extremely slow. So there's a big mismatch there. And this is going to affect, and it's already doing, education, retirement systems, healthcare, all these systems which need, laws changed to change something. And oof, boy.
yeah. I mean, the laws around AI, especially in the U.S., I'm curious to see where it goes. The U.S. just passed the U.S. Senate anyway, just passed a regulation to protect students from AI deep fakes, from nude specifically, because there's been a lot of, it's basically child pornography at this stage because the kids are underage. Anybody in the
Mm,
U.S. under 18 is considered a minor. I
mhm.
think it's like that in most of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the law that was just passed to protect the kids, because people were doing that, unfortunately.
Mhm.
And with anything new,
Yeah, no.
there's no laws there. We're still trying to figure out what to do with TikTok, in the US. So it's like there's no real, you know, there's a first off, there's the lack of understanding of the technology, number one. Number two is the lack of understanding of what to do with that technology. So there's the understanding the technology itself, then understanding what are the implications of the technology. And then there's the fact of, okay, let's take action, which is what historically, because of our extremely divided political system, is usually harder to do
Mhm.
in the US than in the EU, where they sort of take swift action and people abide by it or they get banned. Um, so in some
Mhm.
cases, listen, they made Apple switch to USB-C. They got power. They got more power than the US does. So they pass laws over there, and companies in the
True.
US have
That's
to
true.
abide by them. So I'm in my book, the EU sets the standard, and then everybody else sort of follows. Um, because
Mm.
they're the
Well, the US creates the technology and the EU is regulating it. Well, great.
yeah.
I mean, I would like once see the other way around, but
I mean,
well,
yeah, but Mistral's a French company. They're working on it. There's
true.
a
Yeah, yeah,
few
yeah.
there's
It's
a few
happening. Yeah, yeah.
companies out there that are really doing some incredible things in Europe. Um,
And
so
that's why I'm saying, like, we will never get back to a world which is not rapidly developing
yeah,
everywhere.
you know,
Everywhere.
and I think
In every part.
that's the one
So
good
yeah.
thing about technology, also, that as fast as it's developing, with the EU regulating American companies, America, absolutely, I'm sure they'll follow suit. I mean, we're regulating TikTok. It's a Chinese or
Mhm,
Singaporean company.
mhm,
But you know, it's becoming a true borderless society in some ways. I mean, we
yeah.
still have plenty of borders, but it is becoming a borderless society, which is a topic for another podcast episode,
Mhm,
perhaps. But I think that's where the beauty of this is going to come in, because I do believe that we do need these guardrails in place or regulations. But then you have, where people don't like to admit it because they want to always have something against Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, but Meta
Right.
developing, Llama, and open sourcing it, and with Yang LeCun
Yeah.
leading it, it's sort of, at the forefront of the open source, you know, charge, if you will, in terms of AI, which is incredible and ironic
Smart.
to say. Yeah, it's extremely smart because anybody developing with Llama now, it's like that's a lot of data for them. So, it's all about the data now. And
Mm.
so, it is a very smart play, but it's, whether selfishly or unselfishly, but selfishly, it's benefiting the greater good in terms of development because it's open sourced.
Hmm.
So it's just, it's also benefiting them as well. But, two things can be true at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think what's next? I've taken up a lot of your time, but before I let you go, what do you
Yeah.
see? I'm not even going to say 5 years because this is
No,
changing too fast. What do you see in the next year? Whether regulation, technology, business, what
I
new
really don't have a
business?
clue.
Yeah,
I would so I really I'm probably so we're probably going to so what we are preparing for is having video in our blog articles where we have pictures now because people like to do so that'll improve read time or stay on page time. I'm not sure what's the
yeah,
what's
yeah,
the actual word. Um, so you will have for every H2 headline, you will have instead of an image, you have a video that is running what is in the text, context wise. That's probably something we're going to see. But look, you know what? I want to use this opportunity to say for everybody in the audience, there is no there there are no I'm getting asked a lot like you're an expert in AI. Well, not when it comes to what's going to be next. There's the development is so extreme that first of all, if somebody says, "Yo, I'm an expert in AI since 20 years," well, okay, this means the last 2 weeks have been the most important, and the rest is
yeah,
outdated, except for the basic foundational technology and so on. But if you want to know, this is the point I want to make. If you want to know what's currently happening in AI, go listen to people that actually use AI tools to gather information about what's happening with AI currently, because this is already a full-time job. It's like if you want, so there's a couple of people I follow on LinkedIn, and they release weekly newsletters, and they use Perplexity and so on to create their summaries of what's been happening last week. So really, uh, if you want to know what's happening right now, um, check out people that actually do this for their living,
yeah.
because it's happening so much that yeah, yeah.
No,
This is
that's
one thing.
actually very good
Uh,
advice.
uh,
Any last thing? I'm gonna put all of your information in the show notes where people can reach you, moderniqs.com, that's moderniqs.com. But where else can people find you, connect with you, reach out to you, talk to you? Um, anything that, anywhere we're at, because I'm gonna put everything, but just in case there's something I might miss. But
mm. Well, I I'm most active on LinkedIn right now. But I guess for the sake of having more security about my account, I will in the future probably going to have my most activity on X.
yeah,
And I'm going, this is probably going to be just like any other Musk business going to explode. I mean, you're seeing this already, like the features they're developing is crazy. So X is gonna be probably my main channel in the future.
okay,
Um, but really, people, especially busy website owners, startups, and so on, go on moderniqs.com and create your one free article a month. That's something I really want to say. It's free and it doesn't take time, so there's nothing you can lose, right? And I mean, if you blog once a month, Google will recognize there's something happening in your company, and they will give you more more traffic, right? If you blog less than once a month, yeah.
Fair. All right. With that, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, this is exciting. Thank you so much, Stefan.
Thank you for inviting. Huh?
Absolutely.